And whilst I was waiting for the clear coats to dry on the major pieces, I still hadn't painted the nacelles yet, and I'm glad I hadn't, because it struck me looking at the copper tape that I had left over that it looked really nice as an accent here. And that inspired me to do a little practicing and some research and stuff like that. So what I'll be doing is including in the kit, in addition to the 1 full yard of 1/2 inch tape you're going to need to wire this up, you really only need about 20 inches maybe, but nevertheless you want that extra coverage just in case of mistakes. So in addition to that, I'm also going to include 2 full feet of 1/4 inch, which is a little too short for this. You'll need to wrap it twice. That's about 10 inches. That's 2 of them for 20 inches, 24 inches. You should have a little left over. Don't make any mistakes, and I'll show you how to go about doing that right now. So you can minimize the seam line, but there will always be one, and in this case you're actually going to have 2 seams, one perpendicular and one parallel. Trick to handling this copper tape is to easily get the copper tape off the paper backing. Press against the paper backing side even if you have to crease it, and then the paper will want to return straight, but the metal will keep the crease, and you can peel it off like that. So I've done this 5 or 6 times now. I'm putting my seams on the bottom side, and we're actually going to do this in 2 passes. I'm working against the back side first because that is the flatter of the 2 all the way around. The front side has a bit of a curve to it. You pretty much have to get this first one down, or first one perfectly down, otherwise it throws the rest of it off. Do not pull too tightly on this, because you will rip it in this kind of procedure here. I'll make a mark, pull it back a little, and then cut with the scissors. Rather than just thumbing it down, that'll throw the curve off, so you want to place it down and kind of brush it into the wall. So there's the first pass. And in this case I've been offsetting the seams. They're both still going on the bottom. The other thing to remember is when you buff this down to tighten it into the grooves, is that there's a direction to the copper tape. If you're buffing down against that direction, you can rip up the seam line, and you may be able to salvage it, but chances are you'll have to start over, and you don't have a lot of spare to do that with. Each pass, like I said, takes about 5 inches of tape. I'll mark that there like that, pull it back, trim. And I'd also recommend, rather than cutting this into 5-inch strips, just pull off the main branch and snip as you go. That way if you make a mistake early on, you still have a full uncut length to work with. So what I've been doing from here is pressing down in the middle, right on the overlapping seam line. So that seam line pretty much disappears right into the groove, which is handy. Then it's just a matter of running your thumbnail down each groove, each direction. So what I mean by that is, rather than going forward or backward, it's going up or down. So now when you get to the end of one side, flip it over. And then get the other side. You can go against the seam in some cases, but I really don't suggest it. Hey, kitty. And it looks like I'm pulling just a little bit up. I see. I thought I pulled some up with my fingernail, but what happened is that when the tape got pressed down, it got pulled away from the wall. So what I probably should have done was to press against the wall, and then that would have pulled from the center. Oh well. I do have enough to do another pass. Trying to pull this stuff off is really difficult and time consuming. You could damage the plastic. In this case, I think I may as well just put another strip down because I know I've got it. Yeah. So now in this case, I'm going to press against the wall of it. And that is pretty much that. Looks pretty sweet. It's going to look even better once it's under the clear coat. You're probably always going to have a little bit of wrinkles, and I'm going to buff this down more. But overall, it's a really nice look. And that's going to add a nice touch. So overall, it looks really, really nice. It's going to look great when it's under a clear coat. It's not functional, but I think it's going to add a really nice touch to anybody's setup. And it looks like I have a cattail switch of approval as well.